back to another episode of the Closing Time Chronicles. I'm your host, Allie Tabor, and today we are sitting down with the Vegases. Tell us a little bit about yourself, guys.
Hey, I am Briana Vegas with Vegas Insurance, and this is my husband Russ Vegas. He's with Blue Hair and Realty.
Yep, Russ Vegas, like you said, with Blue Hair and Realty. Been doing real estate for going on 11 years now, and Briana has been doing insurance going on 2.
Yep,
in August.
Full time 2 years. Started with his family's insurance business that's been going almost for 40 years, huh?
Mm-hmm. We're going on 40 years.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just working on expanding it to Baton Rouge. And
Awesome.
Then helps with Russ and real estate, so
Everything kind of meshes together.
Yeah.
One-stop shop.
Yeah. It's a little more seamless than
Cool. That's awesome.
just up and starting something randomly.
Absolutely. Well, Russ, tell us what brought you into real estate? How'd you get here?
Yeah, kind of random. I was actually driving to neighborhood Walmart while in college, and I got a random phone call from one of my.
Very specific.
I'll never forget it. You know, I was driving to go make a little grocery bill, and in college, just knew it really wasn't working out like it should, but still was holding on. And got a phone call from a good friend's girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
That was on a team, and said, "Hey, look, we're looking to hire more agents, and I think you'd be good for it. Are you interested?" I'm like, "Hell yeah.
Why not?"
Sounds good." So went, interviewed. They said, "Look, just pass your tests, and you're hired." And it took me only 5 times to pass my test. Here we are 11 years later, rocking and rolling.
Well, that's beautiful. And then, Briana, I know that you started in mortgage before you got into insurance. How was that transition for you?
Yep. It was a very natural transition because we have a almost 3-year-old now, and at the time, whenever I left on maternity leave and came back to the mortgage company, I came back part-time, but I still needed something to kind of fill those gaps too, because raising a newborn, bills don't stop.
Right.
And so he had the idea years back to expand his family's insurance business, but it wasn't right for me at the time. I was like, insurance is stupid. I don't want to do this. This is so dumb. This is
kind of dragging your feet a little bit.
I'm over this. Yeah. And then so whenever I had some time, only being part-time with mortgage, I was like, okay, yeah, let's give this another go.
Yeah.
And so we did, and then naturally it just progressed into insurance needing to be full-time because I was staying up till 1-2 o'clock in the morning running quotes for people, and I was like, yeah, this isn't working anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So then that's when we were like, okay, we need to kind of bet on ourselves and jump in and do insurance full-time. And so
it ended up working out.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that for you guys. So tell us, what is it like being on different sides of the home buying process?
I think it's great just having someone you truly trust on some that's so big in real estate transaction, especially after, I want to say it was Hurricane Ida really kind of tipped the industry over a little bit with insurance premiums going up.
Sure.
And as you know, that's setting up your escrow account. So, having someone you could trust and getting quotes at the front end of the process, so it doesn't kill a deal at the end of the process and, just waste time and people's hopes and dreams.
Sure.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I work with a lot of realtors too, but it's way easier whenever he's in the office with me.
That's awesome.
That's the first time here. I love that.
Yeah. I don't think that's super common. I know a lot of couples that work together and they're like, "Need a little space today for me, man."
Oh, don't get me wrong. Sometimes he comes in, he's like, "I'm coming in the office with y'all." We're like, "Go back in your cubby hole."
Yeah. I go joking when I got busy work to do. I'll bring my computer.
Yeah.
And read notes and stuff like that.
Start playing his music loud. We're like, "Can you not?" But no, it really is. It's great.
Good.
It makes it easier.
How do you guys work together without stepping on toes?
It took time to know that kind of work balance.
Sure.
But I think the biggest thing is just trust.
Yeah.
Just trust that, look, they got it taken care of. And it works out.
Yeah. We were actually talking about it last night, and he made a good point. He was like, it feels like we've been doing business together for going on 2 years now, or just made 2 years. And he was like, we grew like 15 years in our marriage.
Yeah.
And
that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Instead of the reverse, because sometimes it
Yeah.
can be so strenuous.
Yeah. And it was at first. It was hard because, I mean, we're two different people.
Yeah.
And we work differently. Yeah. So it was like a lot of things. And
Yeah.
then figuring out things that work for him don't necessarily correlate
Yeah.
to me. And
Right.
so we have to kind of give each other some grace. But
yeah, because she's more like organized. I say I'm not unorganized, but she's way more organized than me.
Sure.
I'm more like, what's next?
Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
more like,
I'm like Excel spreadsheet, like color coded, and he's
it
like
merges well together.
a little more crazy cat.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a happy blend of both. I'm either like all in and I'm like, I've got the color coded spreadsheet and everything, or I have like a running to-do list in the back of my head and nothing's set down. And then I feel like I'm a little bit more anxious.
Yeah.
But I find the way through. You know, you always do. You
find
everybody has like their own things.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Okay. So have you guys worked together on a transaction before? How was that? Or do you guys do a lot? Like what's the better question is, what percentage of deals do you work together versus without each other?
It's hard for me to give a percentage or number.
Sure.
But I always want to give Briana opportunity to run a quote for us because we do have great options.
Sure.
You know, and just knowing that side of the industry. And again, I trust her. You know, so but at the end of the day, it comes down to what deals best for the client.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's not only her, it's always what's best for the client. I think is really the foundation of that, but I trust her, you know, so I think it comes down to that.
It's usually a seamless handoff. Like he'll just text me and be like, hey, call this person, we're under contract or we're in our inspection period and they need an insurance quote, and like I just kind of take it from there.
I have to email because she don't like when I
text. You're right.
Learn
that. Like email me because that's my to-do list.
That is fair. I was like, I had to start putting my phone on do not disturb so that I could do like the outgoing things, because as you're making outgoing things incoming, and then it gets like, wait, I can jump to this and then do this and then do that.
Exactly.
I like how you said that. The email is the to-do list.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russ, what is your energy like at the closing table?
My energy at a closing table, I would say just kind of laid back and just chilling because, you know, trust the professionals. Trust that the title attorney is going to do their thing, explain what needs to be explained, and just sit back for anything that, you know, may concern my clients so they could ask me and, you know, put them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
You're there as like a comfort.
More of a comfort, I would say.
Yeah. Sure. How do you guys handle issues when they pop up in a transaction?
Just kind of have to like assess the situation overall and then pivot.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if there's an issue that comes up that's not really an issue, you can just kind of make it more seamless, I guess.
Sure.
And make it not so like the sky is falling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Which Russ is really good about doing that too. Like the way he communicates is very much like, we're going to figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
I think you have to know the whole situation before you actually react.
Yes.
You know, it's easy to knee jerk, you know.
Sure.
And with purchasing a home, I mean, there's so much emotion into it, and I think one of the biggest reasons you hire a real estate agent is to keep that emotion out of it.
Yes.
You know, like this is a business transaction. Let's make sure it's a win-win situation.
Correct.
You know, things are gonna come at us. We'll figure it out.
Exactly. You've got to be that. You've got to be that strong sounding board for these buyers and sellers, because it is so emotional for them, and they need someone to lead them in the right direction. So I love how you said not to react, because I know a lot of people, when they like, oh, let's throw things out the door, let's throw things out the window, yada yada, or like throw the whole deal away. Like, no, take a breath. Let's move through this in these steps.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is one thing that you guys learned from each other's working style? Have you stolen anything from the other?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that we work so well together is that client comes first.
Yeah.
You know, so we just, I guess I could say I took bits and pieces of how she makes clients feel priority and I kind of roll with that, because that's always, I feel like, the biggest foundation for a strong relationship with our clients.
Well, I feel like that's what I took from you. Seriously, that and I don't know, we were talking about, you said time blocking earlier, but that was one thing that whenever I first started insurance, I was like a crazy person. And he was like, okay, use this sheet that he had. And he was like, time block. And now 2 years in, I've kind of tweaked my sheet and it's
your own.
It's my own, but that's one thing that I took from him. And yeah, just the way he communicates with people and making everything not seem so much like, if it's on fire, it's not actually on fire. Like,
right.
You can kind of come down from that.
Yeah, you just need a little extinguisher. Like, it's cool. Yeah. Actually, somebody give that to me as a gift. Like, it's a little mini desk fire extinguisher, and it's so freaking cute. That's funny. Like, hey guys, it's just a little fire. We got this. Yeah, it's okay. It's minor. It's minor. It's minor. It's not a big thing.
I need one of those for my desk.
Yeah. Briana, what's one thing that clients maybe misunderstand about the home buying process, or like from the insurance side of things, rather?
So, what most people don't really fully understand about homeowners insurance is that it's not one size fits all. Like, when it comes to coverage, what's important to you may not be as important to me.
Sure.
And so it's really important, like, whenever I get leads from lenders or realtors, they're like, hey, I just need the cheapest quote. And it's like, okay, I can do that, but I don't want the person purchasing the home to be kind of screwed over in the end.
Right. Sure.
If something were to happen. So that communication, getting your insurance agent in front of your client is so important to really have that conversation and figure out, okay, what matters most to you and how can we tailor your policy to fit your needs?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be different from the next person's.
Absolutely. And again, it's just finding out, everybody has a different line. Yeah. Like for me, I'm big on like flood insurance because my family home flooded. Somebody else is like, it was a once a year flood. It may not happen again. Everybody has different lines and they have different rhymes and reasons. So being able to understand that is huge.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right.
Awesome. What should buyers actually be asking during the process that they forget to?
It's a good question. Hard question. Yeah, insurance for sure. I think we covered that. I think it just comes down to not being asked, but at the front end, as an agent, educating from start to finish. You know how the process works. If it's a first-time home buyer or someone that buys 10 houses a year,
sure,
because the market's always changing. Just cover everything, and that should alleviate the questions that are not being asked that come up with a surprise at the end.
With a surprise at the end. I like how you said that. I don't
love surprises like that, you know?
Yeah. No, but it's one of those things, like you said, education is key, and they're going to pop up. I mean, because no deal is the same. So something's always going to pop up that's different. Yeah. But I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah. And also asking the client from the beginning, like, what's important to you? What are you wanting out of this transaction? Right. From a first-time home buyer to investors, obviously two different things.
Correct. Yes, and how you service that person is going to be completely different.
Yes.
Tell us, we talked about this. What is your real estate love language? How do you show up in your business?
I would say so. Probably, I guess, words of affirmation is kind of what we came up with after talking more. I'd say words of affirmation just so. What was that again?
Well, I'll speak for
Briana. Briana said yes.
It's a tricky question for me.
So I think one thing that you're really good about with like just seeing you interact with your clients is like you are that. Well, not even just your clients, with people in general. You're very like motivating. You have that like coach mentality of like, you got this. You can do this. Here's a game plan. Like, so I feel like that kind of correlates to you having that words of affirmation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's like, that's me. That's me. Briana, what would it be for you? Do you find that you have one that fits your niche?
Oh, mine's definitely words of affirmation.
Same thing
in personal and business. Tell me I'm doing a good job. That's all I need to know.
And she looks good.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the same way. I mean, I show love in acts of service, but I receive it in words of affirmation. Same in business. Like I love being able to help people, but unless you tell me I did a good job, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I probably should have done better. You know what I mean?
I think totally, in this world that we live such fast-paced lives, it's important for pretty much everybody wants to be told, you did a good job here. You know, nice work. You know?
Absolutely. And I feel like for an agent, the best way is referrals. I said that recently. The best way for like those words of affirmation from your clients are referrals.
But that's something I always tell my clients at the end. And I joke with them like, hey, look, you stuck with me. This wasn't just about a transaction. This was about being a resource, not from start to finish, but post-close.
Yes.
You know, you need an electrician, plumber, roofer, whoever, or whatever it may be. Think of me.
Right.
You know, because I mean, the people that I have are vetted. You know, I personally use them.
And you use them a lot.
Exactly.
And they are top of mind. And they're good at what they do. They've shown you time and time again that they're reliable.
Right. And they're local, right?
And I love local.
Yeah.
I love local. Tell us, what is a common misconception that people have during the buying process, and how do you help shift them from that thinking?
That it's intimidating. You know, especially with first-time home buyers. You know, first-time home buyers, we have our consultation, and you can just kind of see the fear in their eyes of like, oh my God. And it's a major milestone. Yeah. I'm not discrediting that, but it really can be enjoyable and easy.
Yeah.
You know, I think it just goes down to putting the trust in that agent, because we have a bunch of rock star agents in this industry. They're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
You know?
How do you educate without overwhelming when you have a first-time home buyer who's already overwhelmed?
Yeah. So I have a home buyer's guide.
Okay.
You know, it could take 6 hours to go through. I'm short and sweet to the point, you know. It takes about 30 minutes, but it really goes from start to finish on expectations, cost, and really just giving more of a clarity on that process. And I think, you know, clarity is power. You know, you don't know what you don't know. So I kind of put myself in those buyer shoes. If I was buying a, you know, first home, what would I want to know? Right. What I want to be told with the person that I'm trusting to take me through this process.
Briana, do you ever feel like you have to go through that in insurance as well?
Oh, absolutely. Especially with first-time home buyers, they're like, I need insurance, but I don't know what that means.
Right.
And I'm like,
I don't think I know what it fully means.
And then insurance in itself is overwhelming, especially if you've never had to deal with it or get a code. You don't know what you're looking at. You just see this number at the end and you're like, that's what I have to pay. And sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's not, but just kind of breaking it down in very simple terms and making it to where that person relates to what you're talking about, if that makes sense.
And Bree's really good with, you know, she gives options. It's not just, here's a quote.
Right.
You know, and she's not just going to send a quote. She's going to make a phone call and explain what each option is, which I think is very important.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you. I want to know what you need, and we're going to figure this out.
Well, yeah, because it's not, like you said earlier, it's not cookie cutter. And, like, there's things that you can plug and play with. Like, I just had to renew my auto policy. And, like, I have, like, because I don't own a home, I haven't done homeowners yet. But it's one of those things where you have to plug and play those numbers, and it makes a difference on your premium, just like it does for a house.
Exactly. And if you look at a deck page, what are you looking at?
Oh my God, they give me anxiety. They give me anxiety. I worked in an apartment complex, and you had to have renter's insurance, and we looked at deck pages all the time. So I knew what I was looking at, but I'm like,
most people don't know what that is. You just see a bunch of numbers and a bunch of words.
Yes, and it's like, who's actually reading? Like, there's so many pages in there, like. But it's super important, and it's all really important information.
It is.
But it's super overwhelming because you're like, why do I need to look at these 15 pages?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So Bree's really good at that. You know, I see it every day in how she really walks through, not necessarily the whole deck page, but the major points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What advice would you guys give other couples working together, whether they're 2 realtors, 2 insurance agents, 2 lenders, mix of both, like you guys?
Don't do it. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. No, I guess best piece of advice is something that we had to learn too, was obviously, like, we each have our own strengths.
Sure.
And our own weaknesses. And so if there's something that I know I can improve on, like, Russ is an easy person to go to, because whatever I'm lacking, and that's in our marriage too, like, he makes up for that. Oh God, I'm too pregnant for this.
That's sweet though. That's super sweet.
But it's true. Like,
I would say, again, trust.
Yeah.
You know, just trust that, you know, they're gonna get it done and get it done at a high level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe not be the way that you would do it, but it's gonna get to the finish line.
Yeah.
You know, like strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely. And I think it's something that as you grow and as you learn, weaknesses are not necessarily a weakness if you can own them and
That's
like
correct.
see exactly
1,000%.
it's an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm big on fail and forward. You know, we human, we're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
All of us.
You're gonna stumble.
You know, it's how you overcome that, how you
100%.
get better from what you did. Because again, it's tough.
It's learning experiences.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
What is something that you guys have learned working together that maybe not working together wouldn't have shown you, even though you are married? Maybe like it's the time blocking. Maybe it's, you know, the communication. What's something that was unique that popped
Our communication skills have definitely improved a billion times.
Really?
Which
okay.
We like over communicate now.
Yeah. But we know each other. We know each other in and out, which is funny, you know, because you think about it, traditionally, you know, your work family is like who you spend a majority of the day with.
Yeah, right.
So, you know,
It's
so
true.
I'm with her 24. And look, I'm not always at the office because of more appointments and stuff like that, but majority of the time it's 24/7. You know, so I know like when to kind of step back because I'm starting to see she needs her me time and things like that. So it's fun. It's fun all around because it's always changing.
Yeah.
You know, it's always changing.
If somebody took one thing out of this video, what do you want them to know about you and insurance? If somebody's like, "Ooh, I want to hire Briana from this video," what do you want them to know?
I want you to know exactly. Like,
She got your
back. Like I will fight for you, and we're gonna figure this out. And while I want you to have the cheapest insurance because everybody wants the cheapest, I also want you to be as covered as you can be. And like I don't want things to slip through the cracks. And if something comes up, like I want to be the first person you call. Like I don't care what it is. If your toilet backed up, like call me and let me know that.
Yeah.
And I'll guide you through that process. Like I don't want to just write you a policy and then okay, see you never.
Right.
One thing pretty neat.
That's something that I learned from him is how he said like it goes post closing. Like I want that relationship with you.
Yeah.
And one thing neat that I see Bree do quite often is that, you know, we get opportunity all the time to, you know, get business. She'll look at the current insurance that a client has. And if it's better than what we could do at that time, she's not going to force that client to be like, oh, well, you know, you should still come this way because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It's truly about what's best for the client. And I think you don't find that all the time. You
No.
know? So I think that's
it's a great trait to have.
It's a great trait to have. You know, we truly treat people like you want to be treated, plain and simple.
Yeah, golden rule,
the golden rule,
yeah,
man.
Exactly.
It's just such an easy thing to live by, but not always, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
What about you, Russ? If somebody takes one thing away from you and your real estate journey, or like if they're thinking of hiring you as their agent, what do you want them to remember about you?
Yeah, I think similar to what Bruce said. I mean, the foundation of just truly caring for the clients. I mean, you know, in a way, it's like family. Like, just I'm gonna do in whatever I can in my power to make sure that their needs are met. You know, and taking care of and getting the best deal possible in that transaction. Yeah. And then, like you said, post close, I'm there for them.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you guys both for coming sit down with me for the show. We love having the pleasure to know you guys, and I can't wait to do more business with you guys. Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you guys. We can't wait to see you guys at the closing table soon. Bye.
Bye.